you have to be honest with yourself though. People don't want to be that honest with themselves.
You just need to keep it real with yourself, bro.
That's true. You get to that spot realizing that you're still broken in some way.
I'm sorry.
That's a little toxic,
Because if
bro.
you
that's a little toxic,
I
bro.
don't Perfect.
They're not ready, bro. They're not ready.
Not for this one, bro.
You see the people that are here? Turn it up. Just smash the like button already.
Oh, we on YouTube.
I gotta.
Oh, we on.
Yo, this is YouTube. Come on. Welcome back, reality check. And today, as you can see, we have these beautiful faces right here. More people than usual because this is a group thing this time. We're gonna have a nice little discussion about what we talk about. Life, just in general.
Facts.
Okay. Nah, bro, don't worry about it. We got Daniel Goofy's in the cuts.
I'm just a guy from down the street. I
That's
watched
crazy.
up YouTuber from the block. You already know, up and coming TikTok sensation.
Okay.
On TikTok.
Go ahead.
Hey, drop your handle real quick.
Huh? Oh, you already know, it's Daniel Goofy's one word. You know what I'm saying? Double O.
What?
Hot in here.
My boy Maheen next.
Alright, man. Mihin, also known as MHN, also known as the Bengali King, I guess.
Okay.
That's the handle. Jack of all trades. We'll just leave it at that.
Yes, sir.
Whatever you need me to do, I got you.
Yes, sir. I know you obviously know VT in the cut.
BT Von Taylor, baby.
He almost let me hang. That's crazy. VT
Never-
in the cut.
never
Then
never
we
die.
have Miss Melanie. I've been trying to press this woman to start a YouTube channel and she's ignoring me. This is crazy. So finally I got her on the podcast. This is like life is complete, okay? And then Xay Dryz in the building. You already know what's going on. Alright. So how have y'all been, first of all? Because I'm not trying to just jump into everything so quickly. So what you been up to though?
I have a little tiny ear infection, you know, but it's
Damn,
okay.
She almost didn't come
And
too.
we're being loud.
Yeah, I
for
wasn't
real.
gonna come, but it's okay. I'm here.
Oh,
I'm here.
fuck.
Yo, you suck texting, by the way.
Damn, I'm actually bad though.
Yeah.
I don't even like phone conversations, to be honest. Like, I need to be in person.
Personally, I talk how I text.
Okay.
I love talking, I love texting.
Well, I don't like
Yeah.
texting, bro.
Why?
Like,
But I prefer calls.
anything. I'm like, I call you and I'm like, yo, like, where are you?
Yeah, because you just
Blah,
like
blah, blah.
saying
Like, get it out.
Exactly, because
I'll
then you
call
have to
the
like
first
spam. Yo, oh my god, I can't even dive into
You
that.
gotta
right
wait
now.
like half
Yo.
an hour for each text.
Say and then
Yo,
it
I
turns
can't
into
do
a
that.
block
I have no
message.
patience, bro.
Okay, I have to ask this question though, just because it's on the subject. How do you feel about block messages in general?
What do you mean, black?
Especially like okay, in the context of a relationship, for example, right? If your significant other just like you get like an essay from them, you know what I'm saying? Like, what type of red flag is that, or is it a red flag to you?
Well, it depends what's in the message.
Yeah.
No, but it depends, like, what you're
Alright,
communicating to me. But I think, like, it depends on the situation.
Yeah, because if it's a block message about how they really like me and the thing.
Okay.
Or
but
what
like-
they're going through.
Okay, no. Okay.
Yo, so imagine someone's like going through it, and you're like, I
Okay.
ain't got time for this, right?
That's what I'm saying. Okay.
This is-
And let me clarify. If you get a blocked message from somebody, but it's like something that they're annoyed with, or it's like they're just ranting to you basically
That's the
about
worst.
something that they don't like
I feel like you should communicate that in person.
in person.
Yeah.
But like, you know, in a sense, if you're a person that doesn't like confrontation, I kind of like it because then you can like go back, reread it like 12 times.
Right.
And then
think about it.
Yeah,
process
think about it, and then maybe even call them after.
See,
'Cause I'm
as
not
an
gonna text
introvert,
back.
I agree with that, but at the same time, like, so I heard this explanation a couple of days ago because people their defense is always like, oh well, like if I'm in person, then I can't like autocorrect myself. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, they want to be able to like they want to be able to like reread what they're saying like 1,000 times. You know what I'm saying? But then I heard the analogy put where it's like, if he's like first of all, ask yourself the question, are you able? Is this the type of relationship? Are you guys comfortable enough to just pick up the phone and just talk about whatever it is you're
exactly like if you're in a relationship, like a serious relationship, you shouldn't have a problem to communicate that with me, like face to face,
right?
Like, you know what I mean? Even if it's like what you were saying, like you have to kind of like go back and see like what you said was right or wrong. Yeah. I feel like regardless, like you should have that in person with your relationship, like in front of the person.
What do y'all think?
Even if you're like, oh, like let me go back, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You should be comfortable enough and very like open enough to like have that.
I agree with what you guys are saying, 100%. But it also works like case by case.
Okay.
You know, because there's just some people like, no matter like how comfortable you are in the relationship, like they just need that space to be able to like process their thoughts and like text it to you. Yeah. So I've been like with some girls that like they'll tell you like, oh, everything's fine, I'm good. And I'll be like, are you okay? And they're like, yeah, it's all good. Then a week later they text it.
But that's so many girls though.
Wait, bro, that's kind of like a little like.
That's what I'm saying. Because they were saying
like that's a little toxic. Because
if you
that's a little toxic.
I don't fuck like that. I get where they're coming from. You know?
Okay, yeah, I understand it. Yeah. Like, especially as like an introvert, like what Daniel was saying, like to avoid confrontation, I understand it because it's like I would prefer to sit behind my bubble and just like tell you without telling you. You know what I'm saying? Without me having to press you in person. Like I would prefer that, but at the same time, it feels like almost like not genuine if I'm not able to actually talk to you like a civilized person. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then the person was saying too is like, if the answer to that question, so like if you ask yourself, is this a relationship where you're comfortable enough to talk about whatever it is that's annoying you or whatever, if the answer is no, that means you're being a weirdo because the relationship is not serious enough for you to be that mad because you're not comfortable enough to talk to the person. And then he was like, if the answer is yes, then talk to the person instead of texting. Like, but like I understand what you're saying too about it being case by case because some people literally can't deal with the confrontation element. Like they literally have to like take a breather or they're gonna snap at somebody.
But I feel like when you're in a relationship, like it's based on communicating.
Facts.
So like even if you're the type of person where you can't communicate, that's a problem, bro. Like you have to be able to communicate with each other for sure, like 100%.
But like, what if like their form of communication
is through text?
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna ask. Like,
okay,
because everybody be saying like the word communication gets thrown around so much. What does communication mean though?
Yeah, or what if
like where we can have that conversation, like where like I'm open and you're open. Well, like the thing is, you said there's a lot of girls that you have talked to, right? Or in general that are like, oh, never mind.
I talk to a lot of girls. I got one girl. That's it.
No, but well, how there's a lot of girls that are like, oh no, I'm good, and then a week later they're like, hey, no, I'm not good, or they say I'm good, but they're not really good. Like I feel like I'm not like that because if I'm not good, I'm not good. You get what I mean? And like I guess everybody's different, like you were saying. But I used to be like that. I used to be like, oh, nothing. Like what's wrong? Nothing. Like I'm good. And then later like catch an attitude. You know what I mean?
He already gets triggered from that.
But I mean like now in my life, this point of my life, I'm like, bro, like I'm like, if this is how I feel, like I have to express that to you.
Well, because that's what I'm saying. But there's so many girls that it's like a girl thing borderline where it's like, oh, how are you doing? Are you good? Yes, I'm fine. They're not fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a thing. Like,
but then you're not in tune with your emotions and like how you feel.
Let me even say, God bless your heart for being that person that's able to say it. I'm not okay. Instead of us having to drill you.
Yo, it took me a long time, but you know.
And that's what I wanted to say. The definition of communication would be is just to be able to convey what you're feeling,
exactly,
like clearly. Doesn't matter if it's through text,
it's not about
call, whatever. Like as long as you can like tell me and I can understand it, and that's good communication.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even about communicating that with somebody else. Communicate that with yourself and like how you feel and stay in tune with your emotions. And you know, I think it's first and foremost like within yourself. So and it tells you a lot about somebody that like, if they are like that, it tells you a lot of who they are as an individual person. You know,
I was gonna say like, do y'all think that if somebody is not capable of conveying their emotions clearly, they're not ready for a relationship?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they're not ready for a relationship, but they might not be the right person to be in a relationship with me. There's a difference between the two, right?
Wow.
Because you know how you are, right?
I know how I am.
And you know what you want, right?
And you know, what you trying to say?
No, because he's right. That's facts.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, your relationship might work with somebody else that's like at that same level with you, right? But for me, like, I know what I need, I know what I want, and like if my maturity's here, I don't want to be with someone whose maturity's like down here. Right, simple as that for me.
Big truths.
Facts. And based on that, like, how do you go about finding somebody's maturity level? Because I feel like that, like, people might snake you a bit. Like, people are like,
sure.
This or that or whatever, and then down the road, you're like, no, this person's a child, bro. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
Or it's backwards, and you think, yo, this guy's so wow on top of his stuff, and then
that's what I'm saying.
But I saw this thing that said like the red flags in the early stage are like the red flags in the end stage. Like you see it in the beginning, but you ignore it because you're like a hopeless romantic, or like you want it to work, but like you kind of see it at first, you know?
Yeah. I think I can't remember if it was with Vaughn, but I was saying this to someone where it's like most, not even relationships, but just most conflicts in general, that like it ends poorly or whatever. If you were really honest with yourself, you could have avoided it. Like, but you have to be honest with yourself, though. People don't want to be that honest with themselves.
You just need to keep it real with yourself, bro.
That's true.
And that like ties back to communication, right? Because like how you were saying, like communicating with yourself. Like if you can like truly understand what you know and what you feel, then you can like portray that and put that out, right?
Yeah.
So like that's how you can see those like signs and those flags. It's just like, all right, this person's mature based off their level of communication and like how it corresponds with mine. You know what I mean?
You know what's really bad? Based on everything you just said, even though you're saying how you should be able to do it, tell me why I'm always hearing about people saying how, like, you go to your friend, I don't know what to do. They literally tell you what you're feeling, and they still don't listen.
Facts.
You just, like, because you care about people's opinion then. Like, instead of your own opinion. You know what I mean?
Yo, the amount of times people come to me for advice, and I like all I do is basically let them talk, and they answer their own question.
That's the majority of the time.
That's like
no point telling them what to do because they're not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it.
This is, bro. I'm like, you know what you have to do, and they're like, yeah, but
I know.
They'll hit you with like, yo, why does 1 + 1 = 2 when it should be 3 type stuff? You know, it's just like what you're saying doesn't make sense.
They literally know it, and they're like, but it should be 3 though.
But that's what I'm saying. You don't keep it real with yourself.
I know.
Like, people have a problem keeping it real. It's like, how do you expect other people to keep it real with you if you can't keep it real with yourself?
Right.
Yeah.
Which obviously stems from fear and like insecurity. But like, I feel like the society is so overrun with insecurity to where it's like it affects how they move. And then it's like, if you interact with somebody and then you like put on kind of a facade or something, it is rooted in insecurity. And then if you tell them that, they're like, no, it's not, you're attacking me, and then they're not gonna listen to nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I think we kind of touched on this a long time ago. It was the idea that if I say to any of you guys here, everybody here, my favorite color is red, and then everybody here is like, okay, Vaughn's favorite color is red. You throw me like a surprise party, the whole place is decked out in red. If you get me like, you know, a nice red like little remote control car or something like that. My favorite color is purple. Right? You guys all meant well. Like the intention was there, the effort, everything. Great friends, Deep down, I know what I did, and I feel like that's a very simple example. But like, if you take it a step further, when you say to somebody, little lies or about yourself, just to like basically either fit in or to be relatable, for whatever reason it is, like we give like these little slips, but these little slips can grow to become very much a whole different person. It's not you anymore. So I feel like, yes, being true to yourself, being true to others, like if you're gonna say this is you, then just be that.
You.
Just be
yeah.
you.
Like,
That's like way to
for sure, like
Facts.
keep it real with yourself. Like, you know what I mean?
Facts.
I was just about to ask y'all a question, which basically was answered by you.
Word.
But I was gonna say, like, is it wrong to act like someone you want to be?
Bro, I was just about to. Okay, watch. Because so I was gonna bring up this point, which is where there's this thing with delusional positivity, basically, right? Where it's like, people want to be the best themselves, whatever, and then you hear all over social media, all over society, oh, I'm working on myself. Where is the line between something that you can improve and something that you shouldn't compromise on because that's who you are?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, where is that line where it's like, oh, this thing, I might struggle with it, but it's me and I'm gonna own it? Where is the line between that and saying, like, almost sticking to that to a fault, to where you could improve on it, but you're like so clouded with, oh, this is me, that you're just gonna disregard that and just own this whatever negative trait you have. Let's say it's anger issues. Oh, that's
This is
just
who
me.
I am.
I'm just an angry person.
That's
You know what
just
I'm
who I
saying?
am.
I'm not gonna try to. Right, exactly. Oh, I'm just an emotional person. I'm a Cancer. I'm never gonna. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's me. I'm gonna own it. Like, these are things that you can work on, and when you hear it in the media and social media and stuff, these are things that you can better yourself at. But there's so many people who are, I'm just
this is just who I am.
This is who I am, and if nobody accepts it, it's their loss. I'm a king. I'm a queen. Blah 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 blah.
Those are people that,
Bro.
personally, those are people that like can't see the things they don't like about themselves. Because the way to change that, or to change as a person, you have to see what you don't like about yourself to change that. Like, I don't like that I'm negative, so let me find a way to change that. You know what I mean?
Because in order to even see that takes a certain level of introspectivity.
For sure. Because people act like their ish don't stink.
Right.
Like, they act like they're like that, like they deserve everything.
Because even to his point, to Maheen's point, even in like a lot of different spheres, like for example, I'm in music, acting like the person you want to be is like important to a degree, but if you overdo it, then you're just faking it. You're you're faking it till you make it, basically.
Yeah, that's like what a lot of people do.
Right. So it's like, if you do it too much, it's disingenuous. But at the same time, like, if you're a person like me, for example, who like for a long time struggled with confidence issues, you have to kind of put yourself out there and like act confident to become that confident, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like, you have to kind of
like
manifest
walk that
it for yourself.
talk.
Yeah, and then you will become it eventually.
Yeah.
But it's like a very thin
draw
line.
the line.
Yeah.
So to that as well, we did a TikTok not that long ago, and this person's thought was write down, okay, what person do you want to be? What do they look like? What do they how do they carry themselves? How do they want to be remembered? What do people say about around behind their backs? Like all these different things. Like, how do you want to actually build this person? And then write that down, behave like that every day until that becomes you. And some people, he was saying this in the video, some people might be saying now, okay, well, that's not really you and you're being fake. Well, he in his video, he's like, well, I beg to differ, because I would say if you're actually thinking about it and say which part of myself is connected to me and which part is connected to some external factor that's causing me to feel like I need to go down this path or choose this direction, right? So then you sit down, you actually distinguish those things, actually work it out, and then you move on from there and act in that certain way. I want to be like this person. I see these flaws because I've written it down. I've written out what I don't want, and this is what I want to build. And you work towards it. I feel like that's an activity where you can genuinely take steps in that direction, where you're not being fake, because you went through and you actually faced, okay, this is what I need to fix. This is how I want to be. This is how I want to look. This is how I want to be remembered. This is how I want to have my reputation. You went through that, right? So then that becomes more you, because you've critically thought about it in a way where you chose every attribute that you would want.
Yeah. How do you get there though? Because like for us, we've most of us have come to the level, at least, like she was saying, that she used to be a certain way, but now she's at the point where it's like she's trying to be real with herself, right?
Right.
So to do what you just said,
Yeah.
you have to be at a certain level of introspectivity, or like at least willing to critique yourself and like willing to check yourself, right?
Right.
But then everywhere you go, you'll see all these people who are not at that level. How do you get to that? Like, what transforms somebody into the kind of person that is willing to look at themselves like that?
Me personally, like I felt like I hit my version of rock bottom, and I just didn't like who I was, and I was tired. I'm like, bro, like I know this is not me, but like going through some things and stuff, you kind of just like become this person, or you think you're this person, and you kind of have to be like, yo, this is not who I am, and like know yourself, you know. And I felt like I had to like be like, yo, like I want to be this person because I know I can be that person, and I know that's like my purpose too. It's kind of like knowing your purpose too, and like who you are, you know.
Yeah, I like that because let's make sure this is still on. Yeah. I like what you said because I can relate to that, like in a real way. Like I feel as though we have to go, and I say that with intention, like we must go through hard times.
Yeah.
I think as humans we can become complacent and a little bit lazy and lackadaisical with certain things that becomes normal.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this with like money or like material things in general. When chasing that and not fixing what's inside first, only causes more misery, because you get to that spot, but you don't realizing that you're still broken, in some way. You might be rich, you're still broken inside. And so I think we have to go through a season or seasons along the way of trials to be like, no, it's kind of you guys know how gold is made, yeah? They actually put it in a furnace, and it stays there for like, it has to burn and burn, and what comes out is like precious.
Same thing as diamonds.
Same thing as diamonds. And I think like that's an analogy that I think back to when I go through like a hard time. Like, I'm being shaped, I'm being molded. What do I need to learn? Like these are the questions I ask myself. If you're someone that's like conflict averse, then I would maybe shift your mindset around the conflict, so that you can actually move forward with it, rather than fighting it. Right.
Because I heard who said this? I think it was J. Cole, actually, like not in a song, but I think he just said it randomly. He was like, I think it was I can't remember. I think it was when they did the Dreamville, the Revenge of the Dreamers. They like basically had this whole project where they had this house, and like bare artists just came and then like recorded and stuff, and they were saying it's like a Shark Tank in there, because you have to get in there, get your spot, because if you're not in there in time, or if you don't write your bars fast enough, somebody else is gonna come take your spot or whatever. If you're a producer and you come in there, if you don't have the beats ready for them, they're gonna, it's like a dog eat dog world out there.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So he was basically saying, I can't remember if it was in that context, but it would make sense if it was, where he was saying that when you are dealing with conflict, a lot of the times, if you remove yourself out of your comfort zone, a lot of times you will realize that you're capable of rising to the bar that you set. So like if you for example, if you're dreaming of whatever goal you have in mind, but then the reason that you're not attacking it is because you feel like you might not succeed, so fear basically, a lot of the times if you just try, or if you put yourself in uncomfortable situations, you'll realize that you have the ability to stay in those waters. And then once you realize that you can do it, mental game from there, you pass that mental bar, boom, you rock it up. It's just like even in skateboarding, like when you drop in, I don't know if you know what dropping in is, but like basically if there's a dip right here, most of skateboarding is mental, because you can have the skill, but if you're like, this is high as hell right here, you're gonna like hurt yourself. So it's like so many avenues are so mental, it's crazy. Like as long as you cross that threshold, boom, exponential. It's crazy.
It applies to like everything.
Literally,
it's not just skateboarding. Like any it's sport, like, whatever you do in life.
It's a mental thing, man.
It is.
There's research that they did on Navy SEALs when they were going through training, and they found that the body failed before the mind.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yo, your mind is like so powerful.
So much
it is.
So powerful, bro.
Dude, I had an experience like that. Like my first time running a marathon. Like running a marathon is freaking hard, right? Like imagine just doing one single activity for just hours straight. Facts. Like literally nothing else.
Couldn't
but
be
that
me,
activity,
bro. You're better
right?
than me. That's mine.
You have nothing but like your
that's mine,
too, right?
I'm a runner. I've never done a marathon.
Yeah, like I didn't even train for this. Like I was just like, fuck it, like I'm gonna do this shit, right? So like back in 2018, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this, right? Because it was just something I had to do. It was like it's one of those like challenges, obstacles, like just kind of, you know, So like I had to face this thing. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this marathon, and like after I hit the 32-kilometer mark, because they had weird checkpoints. Like this one was like every like 6 kilometers, which is not visible by 32, so I don't know why it's 32. But yeah, after I hit the 32 mark, like I was going solid. Like I hit it at 3.5 hours, which is like for a novice, like I've never done a marathon for freaking really good time, right? And then my body just gave out.
Damn.
Ran out of glycogen. I had no more energy. Like literally my legs just could not move. But my mind was just like, I have to finish. So my body was just done, but like that was a really frustrating feeling to like have your like mind still be so like fired and wired, just like trying to get you to go, but nothing is like cooperating with you. But
it's
like
that adrenaline, like that second wind, like
the
second wind where you're like
so like in my head, like I thought I was still sprinting the rest of this. Right?
Wow.
And then I watched the videos, right? I'm literally like going in slow motion.
Wow, that's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like your mind is just so powerful.
It's so powerful.
You know what I mean?
Man.
Like to me, like I still felt like I was running this stuff. Like I was going crazy. Took like literally the last 10 kilometers took me 3 hours to do.
And you got to 32 and 3.
And I got to 32 and 3. The last 10 kilometers. Like I can do 10 kilometers in under an hour any other day.
Yeah.
But this day it took me 3 hours to do it because I was limping and stuff, right? But in my head I felt like I was like, dude, I was Sonic or something. You know what I mean?
You say
like,
bolts on the
but like it's just such a weird feeling to like just have your body not connect to your mind like that.
How sharp does your mind have to be then? If he thought he was running and he wasn't, how sharp? How sharp do you have to be to actually will yourself beyond that point where your body then responds to your mind?
Facts.
Like that's insane.
Like I was trying to ask people this where it's like I have this question where it's like people say that discipline is more important than motivation, right? Because when you're
100%,
right, so in theory it makes sense. But my question, this was like a high percent question. Like I was just like, let me just think about this real quick, which is like, how do you actually develop discipline though? Because if you are the type of person that usually needs motivation, and if you don't have motivation, then you're gonna slack off and whatnot. If you don't have the discipline to will yourself to get wherever you need to be, to just, if it's the gym or whatever, I need to be in the gym, push yourself to be in the gym. If you don't have that willpower, how do you even develop that? Like, how do you, like, because some people have said that it's a skill and skills can be developed, right? So are you born just magically with this ability to will yourself? No.
In my opinion, in order to practice this and build it, is promise yourself or it's more of a relationship with yourself. The same way I'd call you up and be like, yo Sam, like what do you need from me today, and we're going over the plan about videos and editing and all that stuff, and I say I'm gonna post like, you know, this, or I'm gonna edit this. We have an agreement. Most of the time, whenever we're dealing with other people, we follow through, but we never, half the time we don't follow through with ourselves. And I think that's where you practice, where you set goals that are attainable. And you would then be accountable to yourself. You check that off the box, and then you're like, okay, I feel good about that. I accomplished something. I'm taking one step further, and then that's all happening subconsciously. The next thing you do, okay, you hit it, and you start to build sort of like a trust with yourself,
and you're consistent,
and you're being consistent with small things first, and then you work your way up, and through time, you, as you were saying, kind of related back to through like breaking through with the mind,
which makes sense on that level, but at the same time, it's like, with that specific analogy that you just gave, that still sounds like motivation to me, because it's like, if the purpose of setting small goals is so that they're attainable enough to where if you accomplish them, then it's like, I accomplished this, okay, let me go more. It's like you're giving yourself little motivations every time you hit a goal to propel yourself. But like, I'm saying, if you're one of those people, like I heard Kevin Hart say this, where it's like a lot of people think they're grinding, but like a real grind is when you work your ass off on one thing, nothing happens, and the next day you get up and do it again.
Yeah,
that's a real grind. So like if you, for someone to develop the amount of discipline where you're seeing no progress, no progress, and you get up and do it anyways, like that is the level of like do you have to be just that intrinsically disciplined just naturally, like off when you're born, you're just like that, or like does something happen in your life where you just develop that over time?
I think just like, I mean, like you said, it's kind of like never giving up on yourself. Like those people don't give up on themselves. You know what I mean? Like they keep going for themselves. I feel like you kind of have to do that in life for yourself.
I think there's like environmental factors that contribute to the success of a very motivated person that goes both ways. Like if you take a look at like almost any NBA player, for example, they came from like the toughest environments, right?
For sure.
And like they just had such like tough childhoods and like a way to actually get to that one point or pinnacle where they were finally successful. And then you have players like Steph Curry, where you had the complete opposite route, where of course he still had like a crazy amount of difficulties and obstacles, right? But he came from a very loving background, you know, like he wasn't strapped for cash growing up or anything, right? So it's like a shoehorn or freaking what's it? Freaking a horseshoe, yeah, a bell curve, right? Like you have like both ends of these curves, where like if you have either one of these like kind of
extremes,
you'll be able to reach this kind of levels of motivation, but you don't necessarily need it, right? Because it's still a curve. You can fall in any of these parts, but ultimately, like to have that motivation, it's just like how like Melanie's saying, like you need to just know yourself, right? Like how are you gonna be motivated if you don't know what you want to do?
Exactly.
I think
you have a goal and you like try to accomplish that. And it's about knowing yourself. Like, okay, I don't like that I'm eating fast food every day. Like, you know, I want to be healthy. I want a better lifestyle. It becomes a lifestyle discipline. It becomes like your lifestyle. Like you change the way you live. Like if you're eating fast food every day, you have to be disciplined to start eating healthy. You discipline yourself to be like, yo, this is not what I want. You get to the point where you're like, yo, I don't like this like version of me. Like I don't like this version of me. This is not what I want for my life or my future. Okay. You know?
So so now let me ask you.
Like being broke.
Right.
Like you want to be, you know what I mean?
Okay, let me ask a different question. If you become yourself, right, a disciplined person, are you attracted to disciplined people then? For like relationships, for example, like when you look at like you're attracted to disciplined people.
You're a home wrecker, bro.
Hey, nah, bro.
Home wrecker,
bro. If you're, bro, I'm just asking a question, bro. Don't try to put this on me.
That level, like you know how earlier I was talking about maturity, like if there's a mismatch in levels of maturity, can't ride with that, right? Discipline is another one of those dimensions where it's just like, you know, if you're not a disciplined person, like for me personally, it's not, I can't ride with that. We need to have these similar kind of goals.
Yeah, you attract who you are, right? Like I believe in like if you're discipline, and why are you gonna be interested in somebody that isn't?
Okay, so I have a very interesting question, right? Because it's like people say opposites attract, da 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 da.
I don't know.
Nah, that's a fact.
So-
my
so-
girl is completely
Okay, so
opposite.
it's like so for some things opposites attract, and for some things you have to have similarities. Obviously, what things do you have to be similar about, and what things?
My
Pause,
values,
different.
bro.
Pause,
Yeah.
pause right there. I'll even go a step further.
Mm.
I'll go a step further. What things, if you were to write it on a list, would be things that you can compromise on, and things that are absolutely not?
Those are like two different.
But
Well,
like
they were related, right?
similar, but like for you though, like
Yeah.
you specifically, because I feel like my list would be very different from your list.
Yeah.
Vice versa, like your list. If you were to
Yeah,
go
yeah,
through
yeah.
it, what would be like things that you could compromise on or not?
Because for we're talking about discipline, like a lot of gym rats, for example, like guys, they like there's some gym rats that they have to have an athletic girl, like they must,
Yes,
because
yeah.
it's
It's an
just
absolute must.
the lifestyle, they have to have the same. But then there's other gym rats where it's like, oh, it's fine, they could be
Yeah.
like whatever, they could be an accountant, it doesn't matter, like
Yeah.
it's fine. So like what type of, because what like how Maheen's saying, like the discipline aspect, his girl has to be also disciplined, but like what does that mean though, in what way? You know what I'm saying?
She doesn't need to be disciplined at the same things as me.
Right.
We can have our differences, but she needs to be a hard worker too. You know?
Right.
Like,
She needs to be like
in her
working on
lane,
herself.
Yeah.
Like you need to be watering your grass in your, garden. Like that's all I want. Like personally, like if I'm watering my grass, like I want you to water your grass.
Facts.
So when we come
Facts.
together, we have a big garden
Facts.
together. You feel me?
Say that.
You know what I mean?
Say that.
So when we come together, we have a farm.
miss
Now we're producing. Now we're producing,
That's
bro.
all.
Now you have
That's
hey.
Like now we're
That's
producing.
crazy.
Now you
That's
know what I
crazy.
mean. Now we got mango trees. We got
Hey.
like you feel me?
We're in the Eden now.
Like I need
Where's
to have.
Eve at?
Like for me personally. Oh my gosh! Let me give you a little root over there.
That's crazy.
But I don't know. For me, like the same value, bro. Like we need to have the same value. Like like for sure. Like we need to have a destination, and maybe you're going slower than I am, but as long as we're going there together, like I think that's very important. Like the same destination, like. Regardless if you're an athlete or if I'm doing this, like I think as long as you're watering your grass and like I am, like that's cool. Like that's and no, this is like off topic, but like what you were saying, how like you're an active person and like you might be dating somebody that isn't. For me personally, like I'm not fit and stuff, but I do like somebody that's working on themselves inside and outside.
That's
know
what I
what
was
I
gonna
mean?
say. Inside, because one of the most frustrating things that I hear everywhere is this whole I'm working on myself, da 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 da. But most of the time, when people say they're working on themselves, what they really mean is they're working on their socioeconomic status. That's what they mean.
Or
I'm getting my bread up. That's what
yeah.
they mean. They're not actually working on how to become a better human.
No.
And you know what,
that's
too?
not what
It's
they're
either
saying.
that or their booty.
Bro,
Oh my God.
it's either their physical appearance or the amount of money that they have. It's
Or
literally
they're like-
that.
And
Or
detect
people-
no cap.
Or
Bro.
people be like,
Techno
oh, I'm working on themselves, but like the positivity of themselves, like
Right.
the good things of themselves.
Exactly.
Instead of like working on yourself of the negative and the things you don't like about yourself, you're working on yourself
Like
on
things
the
that
good
you
things
already
you like about
see
yourself.
positive.
That's not
They just
real,
try to
though.
like emphasize it more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's not working on yourself.
Like I'm already athletic, so I'm gonna push myself
Right,
to be more
like-
athletic.
And that's not to say that's bad,
It's
because
not
obviously you need to improve. And if you're already good at something, there's always
That's called like
ways to improve.
improving, not
Right.
working on yourself.
But like
I feel
when
like,
these
right?
people, like I feel like half of these people, oh, I'm working on myself. All of their negative traits, if you want to call it that,
They just
they
push
have a
aside.
blind spot. Like they don't even see it. Like they're like, yo, I'm literally perfect, and if I'm not perfect, it's because I'm about to be perfect
Yeah.
in 10 days, bro. Like,
And
yo,
if you
bro.
call them out on that, they'll be like, "What the f?" Like,
bro, that
you're just no
you're
longer their
attacking
friend
me.
anymore. Exactly.
Let me come, and then, oh my god, and then it
Just
goes
like that.
into my absolute pet peeve, which is oh, let me cut you off because I need to be surrounded by all positivity all the time. I swear on my life, bro.
That's real. That's real.
I hate that, but I also hate when they'll be like, oh yeah, but you did this. They'll bring up something you did like 4 or 5 years ago, and it's just like, how are you gonna,
especially if they're like,
proves what I'm saying. I've grown from that shit.
If they say they've forgiven you.
Shit, and they can watch all they want, man.
No, but for sure, like when you point out certain things that, you know, you can see them improving. They're like,
Bro, like it irks me so much.
I need positive vibes.
It irks me so much.
A while back in the podcast, about I don't even know how long ago, I had a thought and I lost it, but it's exactly what we're talking about now, which is I believe, in my fair opinion, that people now don't take the time to actually work
Fact
on themselves.
Fact.
I'm sorry.
Elaborate.
No.
Yeah, what do you think?
I want to hear what Daniel has to say.
Daniel felt something in his spirit.
Actually, no.
Yes! I'm waiting for you to say all night.
No, bro. I'm sorry. It just that one really hit.
Yeah.
Only because I'm gonna check myself. I'm technically guilty of this too, but the whole generation is all about that quick route. And like a perfect example of this, even though like it also depends on how you're gonna look at it, is this, or actually I'll use myself as an example. I tried to do YouTube, right? I was trying to pop off, I was trying to do all this, yeah. And then I wasn't disciplined, right? So I was like, I just kind of fell off. Hey, I know what you're laughing about. That's I don't know why you're laughing, but that's some different context, okay? But still, it didn't fall through, right? You know, I was checking myself, trying to rebrand, blah, 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 blah. Different side of the story. Then TikTok comes out, and I'm thinking, yo, everyone's popping off TikTok. Bro, everyone's blowing up off TikTok. Everyone's making money, everyone's doing this. Easy route. Off one video, all of a sudden you're famous. Why not go do TikTok? Whoa, why not? It's the easy way out. Like with the YouTube stuff, I see so many people working hard. Like obviously, different people that grow way quicker than others. Maybe because their avenue's different, or like the niche they're in,
or because they stick to one thing and they put everything into that one thing.
Exactly. And it's like you might not receive the reward, but you're still like putting in that work. It might pay off some other way. Maybe that's not like the route you're supposed to do. Maybe you're working too hard in something you shouldn't. But like with TikTok, it doesn't matter if it clicks, and all of a sudden you're rewarded for something you shouldn't even be rewarded for. And so everyone's like, now everyone's switching over to there, trying to like blow up somehow. You have all these people grinding hard. Like you watch some TikToks on the app, and you're like, dude, I learned so much from this. And then you see someone else getting like 20,000 times the views for like sticking a finger up their nose or something.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
It's like
because it's just quick gratification.
Exactly.
Like super.
Instantly.
And it's so random, especially on TikTok. It's literally. I swear, it was literally like somebody was dangling something off a piece of rope and 3 million views, bro. I was like, bro,
are you
like,
serious?
what is going on?
Wow.
Or like those posts are like, yo, get my friend to 3 million.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot him or so, like.
Some random thing like that. Like it's literally like, yo, people are trying to blow up just the quickest way possible.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you see it too, because like the ones who actually put in that work, their fan base is loyal.
Yes.
Like loyal.
Yeah, and they
loyal.
because they seen you from the jump.
Right. And then all these TikTok people, they drop off hella fast.
Like quick.
Because their fans.
And because
are not really fans, they're just let me follow this person.
And there'll be another person that has more views, and another person. It's always,
it's just this circular thing.
Well, similarly to how you want to build a fan base to have a structure that you can actually stand on for more than just your own lifetime, is similarly how you want to structure your work. How you working on yourself? How you gonna ground yourself? How you gonna play that platform?
Being disciplined,
right? Because your issues might be my strength, and my issues might be your strength. So I have to look at myself and get off my phone and be like, oh, this is nice. Oh, this, you know what I mean? I wish I had more of this. No. And I think like to a certain degree, like we blame technology a lot, which in due respect, it has its effects, and it has changed a lot between like 50 years ago and now. But at the same time, I think the work that we can do as like our generation can be way more.
Yeah, for sure. People get lazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I do for sure.
Yeah, no, that's not to say like work yourself to the ground, but you know, ask yourself critical questions and be honest. That's like two things that will literally start on that path.
To put back into even discipline, like I forgot because technically I feel like we didn't technically like answer your question, because I felt like everything kind of leaned back into like the motivation factor.
What question?
The question you're asking about, like, how do you get to that discipline?
Oh yeah.
The thing is, like, it's just like a kick in the butt. You don't have to be watching like a Kobe Bryant motivational video for it. It's like a routine you get into. And like, actually, no, we did answer that question, because then Melanie was talking about how like, if I eat fast food, no, I don't want to eat fast food. It's not what I want to be anymore. You get into that routine of where it's like, you just have no desire to do it. Like, I'm sure at the beginning you're like, oh, I miss it so much. But then you get to a point where it's like, oh, this is disgusting. You start puking over it.
Your body doesn't digest it anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
You start rejecting it.
You start rejecting it and stuff.
Yeah. Facts. Yeah. Which goes into the whole, it's like, it's a two-edged sword, because it's like, you become what you do, and also like you are who you hang with. Like all those type of sayings are very true.
They are.
Which is very frustrating for me, because people take that and then flip it into my pet peeve that I was talking about earlier, which is, because you are who you hang with, that means that I have to be in the echo chamber. So as long as you're not talking bad about me, you can be my friend. But the moment that I hear any type of negativity, I'm gonna cut you off that fast.
I know a person.
Some yes man.
Jesus help me. I know a person like that, and it is maddening to say the least. To say the least, at how those types of people can be friends with them for years. One thing, one incident, don't hear a thing, just absolutely ghost. Like, and on one end it can be tough, like almost like hurtful, but at the same time, battery died. At the same time, it's also a fact of like the respect. Like, what did you think of their friendship to begin with? When people just literally dropped it that quick. Like, what? How?
That shit hurts.
How do you do that? Like, that's a special gift. I don't know where they got that from.
That shit hurts, man.
Like cutting something off.
Yeah, that shit hurts, man. I ain't gonna lie.
No, I was just saying that I think it's, I don't know where people get that gift from just cutting people off, but
bro,
the fact that they can do it so swiftly and without care.
That's
be friends with them for years.
Oh yeah, because you were saying like, what does that mean, bro?
Yeah.
You know what too, especially when they tell you like, yo, like, I love you.
Dude, don't get me started. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Okay,
I'm not gonna leave you.
Don't get me started.
Hold on.
Bro, we're gonna be friends no matter what.
These people need a voice real quick. So sometimes, what if they just saying all that and they crying in the corner at home?
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
He's the one that
What do you mean by that?
No. All I'm saying.
You're the one who cuts people off, bro.
What you trying to say?
Nah, cause like no, to an extent, like what you said, like, oh, it's cutting people off. That's like, whoa. But like, for the people that be saying, yeah, I love you, that's different.
Okay.
Love and friendship.
What are you trying to explain though? What are you trying to explain? For the love part, the love part.
Specifically, like the love part, like maybe they're doing it for like to put me first. To put me first atmosphere. And like
they're giving an ultimatum.
Yeah, I'm not defending the positive thing. Like maybe the reasoning is wrong, but like they still would feel like the backlash of like just doing something stupid like that. Without trying to like,
they feel like it's justified.
Yeah, they feel it's justified, but they didn't think over it.
It doesn't feel that way on this end, I'll tell you that.
It does it.
But that goes back to like communicating. Like,
and I feel also that goes back, not to cut you off, that also goes back to the whole notion that people think love is an emotion.
Yeah, and
It's
not an
a
emotion.
choice.
Bro, love is not like
I choose to love you.
Yo, it's not an emotion.
Regardless
No,
of
you
like,
can choose to love anyone.
It starts as an emotion. Don't get it twisted. But it becomes
It could be based off an emotion. Sure,
yeah, there you go.
Right?
That's
Like
better.
you feel it, right? But like,
but then over time that develops.
It can be based, if like you're not about to love anything, it at least in the beginning that you don't have strong feelings towards.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the strong feelings towards, that is what it is. It's I have a strong affinity towards this person. That's not love.
That's not love.
That's
The
not
love
love.
is when I consciously decide that you're not getting rid of me no more.
Facts.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like when I decide that, now you're in my circle, it's done. Like
Yeah.
the key is gone, bro.
Like you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, like it's me and you now.
But,
You know
but
what
you
I'm
see,
saying?
but you see, that is the issue though. It's because we have different definitions of love.
Right.
Or people
Many
don't
different
know what
people.
love is too.
No, that's
People don't know what love is, bro.
So
Like,
they just think any kind of thing is love, bro.
they just think the emotion they're feeling.
Just like, I've
know?
never felt like this before. It must be love. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the issue with a lot of things in the world though. This definition, everyone has
Facts.
a different definition of every word.
Because like if you think about it, like in of itself, it's not that big of a deal that people have different definitions and stuff. The problem though, what happens is that if you think that love is an emotion, that means that if you think about it, if I'm no longer feeling that emotion, that means I don't love you anymore.
Yeah.
So that means like
it's hard
if,
to balance those.
And even
You know,
like
when do you not love someone anymore?
right,
It's hard to draw that line.
like falling out of love, what does that mean?
Yeah.
that means you didn't love me. Because love at the end of the day, like I saw this little clip of video of this woman saying that when she dated her boyfriend was like, she was like, why do you love me? Like, why do you love me? And normally guys would be like, oh, because you're smart and like, you know. But he was like, because it's a choice. I choose to love you. And at first she was like, what? But like later on she was like, you know, I liked it when I wasn't being so nice to him. When I was wrong, he still chose to love me. When I gained 50 pounds when I got pregnant, he still chose to love me. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's everlasting love there.
So are choices set in stone then? If
I
love
mean-
is everlasting, then are choices set in
I
stone?
mean, not all choices, but I feel like set in stone is like a big, like, that's a big thing. But then at the same time, I feel like you should look at it like that, especially at least for certain things, because I think one of my problems with society in general, and not excluding myself, but just what I observe, is that people are not putting enough weight on love, because they are treated, like for example marriage, for example, they're treating it like dating.
Yeah.
So like that's why you have all these like ridiculous stuff that's happening in marriage, because it's like, oh well, I have divorce, it's fine, I can just get out,
It's
like it's
easy.
fine. It's,
Yeah.
like it's
Nobody
whatever,
wants
it's
to
fine.
put in the work. Like nobody wants to put in the work. People want to, like they see other people watering their grass and they want to go to that. Nobody wants to actually water their own grass. Like at the end of the day, a relationship is about you guys watering your grass. And some people can't really like stay on their lane and like really put in that work. People get like, they don't want to put in the work. They want to go to an easy route. They want to go to an easier way.
And the crazy thing about that is when what people see or are attracted to outside of a relationship, they're not putting into account the positives that are already inside that relationship. They're just seeing what their partner is missing that might be in someone else, but not acknowledging the positives or the fact that this person might have a way worse issue coming along with them. Right? And I think we can take for granted what we have
Yeah, for sure.
and not even think about it as like, oh, these are pros, and then be like, oh, these are all the negatives.
Because I feel like also like even when you're thinking about like an interpersonal relationship with another human, not even like dating, but just like even friends, like this, like is this person gonna work with me, how I am, my personality? People don't think of it with it logically. They just think of how this person makes them feel, which is why you have all these conflicts of this is not working, da da da. It's because you didn't think of the fact that this person's a neat freak and I'm not. Like
Germaphobe.
like especially when like it's fine if you're friends because you don't live together, it's fine. But when you're talking about you're eventually gonna move in with this person, if you have a neat freak and you're the opposite, that is a problem.
That's a
like
fact.
Like you have to look at logical things like that, like because it's gonna piss you off. Huh?
That goes back into his thing with that list, like of the things you're willing to compromise on.
Right. Because if you're the type of person where it's like, if you're a neat freak, but you're not OCD, you might be willing to compromise on it. But if it's like I cannot be with the messy person. Like I couldn't. Like it's gonna send you to the grave. Like you're gonna die, bro. If you're with a messy person, then, bro, if the person's attractive but they're a messy person, get out of there, bro.
Nah, it's like
you sure?
Yeah. I got a lot of it. See, like another like anecdotal point for me, because like me, I'm a super messy person. But my girl is neat freak. Complete neat freak. But the thing is, we both know ourselves really well,
right?
And we know like our environments very well, so we don't force those ideals onto each other. So like when I'm at her place, I respect her stuff, right? So like I'm not allowed to wear my outside clothes, and like when I go, you know what I mean? So I have to like change when I go to her place. I'm like, that's fine, But in my place, like, bro, I'll jump onto my belt, my jeans, whatever.
Right.
Like, I'm not stressing about that, and she will too. Like we have that like dual kind of standards, I guess.
Can I say something though? When you live together, bro, it's a whole different.
But when we left, so like
that is a whole different ballgame, because you're gonna be comfortable and used to your environment, right?
Yeah.
So you're used to coming in wearing the same clothes. She's not used to that environment, so that's when you guys clash.
Because it's also
every day. It's your everyday environment, right? It's your everyday.
For sure.
So when you come home into a mess, like it's fine, but for her, it's not fine. So that is like. That can clash.
Because it's like two different environments. Because like if you have someone else's space, you can recognize that it's their space
and respect it because it's their space. You'll respect
it and you'll compromise on yourself, because it's like, oh, I can go home after them.
Yeah.
But like once that's your home is that, you're gonna be like, But even
I got no problem with compromise though.
Exactly. That's
what I was about to say.
Exactly.
Because what I was about to say is, if you do end up living together and that's not a problem, then that's a perfect example of you being two different people, but that just happens to be an area that you're willing to compromise, which is fine.
That's fine.
That will allow it to work.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that if it's an area that one or the other is
doesn't want to compromise,
it's gonna be an issue. Like
100%.
Come on, bro, get 2 rooms.
You know what?
Dual beds, bro. Dual beds, bro.
Has been done.
Parallel beds.
That's a regular thing in like brown culture.
Yeah,
it has
been done.
Like my grandparents had different rooms and stuff.
Hey man, for the safety of the marriage, it can be done.
Listen.
It can be done.
That's what floats your boat.
Hey, listen. So you're not gonna be sweaty when you're cuddling and all that.
Hey man, you come for a sleepover?
Listen, come over here real quick.
Yo, that's what's the value behind it?
Like my parents currently do not sleep together. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Like they're not like, it's not a big deal to them to or not to sleep. Like that's just kind of like a traditional thing that we in the Western world like place value on.
Yeah.
Hey, wanna come to my room real quick?
Slide over.
Hey, yo, man. On that note, they're gonna be a part 2.
Hey, you guys have to tune back into. Listen to the rest of the conversation, man.
Reality check, baby.
This was a lot of fun, man, and we're gonna have more fun when we tune back into Reality Check Part 2. Make sure you hit the like button, hit notifications, put the bell on, go in the comment section, spam what you thought you disagree with, what you agree with. You know what I'm saying? Do all of that because we need the algorithm. That's crazy. Algorithm.
Bro, that means we invited back. Let's go.
Run back the names again.
Dang it, goofies.
We got Maheen, I mentioned.
Melanie is vibing.
Hey, man. You already know who we are. Thanks to guests for coming.
This is heat, bro. I'm not gonna lie. This is heat, bro.
Yeah, this is actually sick.
Alright, man. Tune back into part 2. We out.
Peace.